I would like you to note 3 things. The first thing I would like you to note is our position in God. Our position in God. When the writer says, be still and know, when God says, be still and know, it means that you are somewhere. He recognizes you are in a certain place. And so we are here. And the first thing you want to recognize is that we are positioned very well in God. That is very important, because if you have no position, if you are not positioned anywhere, then there is trouble for you. But if you are positioned, then you can be called to attention. If you are not positioned, then it is difficult to call you to attention. So the first thing is that God is saying, be still and know, and he calls this, he wants us to know that we have a position. And the first thing you want to look at is our position in God. Our position in God. And to think about our position in God, I would like you to see 2 reasons why it is important to think about our position in God. If you are in God, God will enable you to see what you can see properly. If you are not in God, you are outside of God, and therefore there is no need for anybody to say to you, know that I am God, because you are outside of God. If you are in God, God calls you to know that he is God, because you are in him and you have a position. So the first thing that we want to note about our position in God is that God is our refuge. I think that comes out clearly in the first verse of the Psalm. God is our refuge. The word refuge is both a verb and a noun, but it is mainly a noun. So you have got a refugee and then a refuge. A refugee takes his refugee in a refuge. And so we understand this mainly from political circumstances. When people are persecuted, when people are in danger in their own countries, then they move away to other countries where they take refuge. They are protected in that refugee country. They are provided for adequately. They are safe from the dangers they were going to face when they were in their own country. So you want to be safe, you run away to another place where you are not haunted by the problems that are in your original country. Now, the same thing applies to us, that we have taken our refuge in God. And it is very important for each one of us to ask ourselves as we discuss, am I in God? Have I taken my refuge in God from the troubles, from the dangers in the world, from the problems, from the challenges? Have I taken my refuge in God? Because he is our refuge. Now, the word refuge is used in this context to mean 3 things. One, it is a state of being sheltered. Our refuge, God is our refuge because it is a state where we are sheltered from pursuing danger. That if dangers are pursuing us, we are already safe because we are in God. We are sheltered from difficulties. And these difficulties, while God doesn't protect them from us, but he is able to provide, to safeguard us from being destroyed by those problems. 2, it is a place of protection, both physical protection and spiritual protection. We can think about physical protection. We know that we will not be destroyed completely. Because God is our refuge, we are always safe. Jesus said that do not fear those who can kill the body, but can do nothing about your soul. So when you are in Christ, when you are in God, when you have a position, your position is in God, even if physically you can be attacked, but ultimately you are safe. But also, we are safe spiritually. We are safe from our adversaries, and we are safe from our adversities. So our protection is both from our adversities and from our adversaries. And this word is also used here to say that as our refuge, we have a dwelling place. We are dwelling in God because we have decided to join ourselves to Him. So God is our refuge, is our place of protection, is our dwelling place, and nothing can harm us. So that is the first thing we want to note, that God, as our position in Him, is that we are safe and secure. The second thing that I would like us to think about is that God is our strength, and He's always available to us to help in any situation. God is available to help us. So while we are protected, but we are protected also by power, because He's our strength. He enables us to go through different situations. And because He is available to help us go through different situations, He also is present. That He doesn't give us strength. It is not like we have to go every morning to ask, give us the strength for today. He's available all the time. Now, my friends, I don't know what could excite your heart more than that. That in this position where we have taken refuge, we have strength to endure and go through everything and all the time. So the psalmist says, He is our strength and a very present help in trouble. There is no trouble, there is no situation you can go through that God will not protect you from, that God will not give you the strength to face, that God will not give you the grace to overcome. So that is our position. And that is the number one. So I said we want to consider three things as we think about be still and know that I am God. The first thing you want to think about is that we have a position in God. The second thing you want to think about is that we are faced now and again by unfavorable circumstances, unfavorable conditions. They face us all the time. And these unfavorable conditions and circumstances can be divided into two groups. One is their natural consequences, their natural circumstances and conditions which we face all the time. And then there are man-made challenges and problems that we face again all the time. So I would like to invite you to go through with me in verse 2 and 3 and see these natural circumstances we may face. So he says, therefore, we will not fear, because remember, our help is constantly available. We will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging. The psalmist is giving us, citing unfavorable circumstances which we cannot challenge. You cannot say those were small, they are minor challenges than the ones I face. You can't say, even if the earth should give way, that means the earthquake, and recently we heard of the earthquake in Turkey, where buildings collapsed, where there were gullies, where there were cracks. And the psalmist is saying, even if that should happen, we will not fear. Even if the mountains should fall into the sea, we will not fear. Now, the psalmist cites those big challenges. I don't know, my friend, what could be difficult in your life, whether you are facing such natural consequences in life. You may say, I am poor. You may say, I have no money. You may say, my family is falling apart. You may say, I have no job. You can think of anything. I don't think you have something that is bigger than when the earth should give way or when the mountain should fall into the sea and we are completely flooded by the water. So even when that happens, the psalmist is saying, because of the position we are in, we are safe and secure. Nothing can harm us. But the psalmist is also citing some man-made challenges. And I would like to bring this to your attention. Briefly, we will go through verse 6, verse 8, and verse 9. The psalmist says, the nation is in uproar, kingdoms fall, and God lifts up his voice, and the earth melts. And verse 9, it says, come and see the works of the Lord, the desolations he has brought on the earth. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shield with the fire. Now, the calamities, the circumstances that are man-made are mainly associated with the war and fighting and demonstrations and violence and all those things that go with that. The political turmoil, the military pursuits, and the psalmist is saying that even then we will not fear. Now he uses the word in verse 8, come and see the desolations the Lord has brought on the earth. That because of this, we may be faced with challenges that are much bigger than we anticipate or we can even face. Think about the COVID-19. Think of how we are witnessing burying of people in their thousands every day in mass graves. The devastation, that desolation that was hitting us. It's because of, we are told that man was trying to manipulate and produce this virus in the laboratory. So we can say this is part of man-made problems. We can think of famines which may arise because of our mismanagement of the environment, and people go without food. Think of them. But again, we are told that God still overrules in this. And I know that many of us have gone through this Many of us lost our relatives, our friends, our loved ones in COVID, and maybe we continue to do so. We think of the wars which he brings to an end. In verse 9, he says, he makes the wars to cease to the ends of the earth. Now, we in Uganda, we people who are above the age 40, have seen wars in Uganda. We have seen the Liberation War and how people suffered. We have seen the Coney War and how people suffered. We have heard of wars elsewhere. We know of the genocide that happened in Rwanda, our neighbor here. But God brings all these to an end. Now we are hearing of Ukraine and the people who are being bombed and dying in their hundreds. God sees this, but he brings them. Even that will come to an end. God is the one in charge and is in control. Now, the way he brings these things to an end is, we are told in verse 9, that he breaks the bow and shatters the spear and burns the shields. So God has a way of making our weapons to be of none effect to us, to protect people. I remember during Amini's time, there was worry because most of the people were saying, actually they were reporting that there is an imbalance of power in Eastern Africa because Amin was so armed that it was feared that there was nothing that could be done to him. And Amin himself bragged because he knew Nyerere, some of the forces which were opposing him were in Tanzania. He used to say, because he had the MiGs, that I can ask for a cup of tea to be made for me, and I can go to Dar es Salaam and come back before the tea is ready. Because he has the weapons. But the psalmist is saying he shatters them, he burns them, he breaks them. So that is God, the God that we have. And Paul and the writer is inviting us to think about that. That one, we have a position in God. And two, that whatever unfavorable conditions or circumstances we face, we will not fear because God is above them. Those circumstances may be natural, they may be man-made, but God is in control. And so finally, he invites us to consider the power of God. Consider the power of God. Consider how God demonstrates that power by stopping wars. Consider how God demonstrates his power by managing those natural disasters. Consider how God deals with the different situations, the power that he wields. And then when he comes to verse 10, that's now when he says, now be still and know that I am God. We have said at the beginning that this invitation, this call of attention comes to us when something important is eluding our minds. Many times we think that the challenges we face are bigger than us and they are bigger than God. We think that the problems we face, even God can't solve them. So we worry ourselves to death because we have these problems. And he's saying, please be still. Take time to think about who God is and know that I am God. It is in the light of realizing that God, we have a position in God. And if you don't have a position in God, my friend, I want to invite you to make your stand clear with God, to accept Jesus Christ so that you can be in God, because in God, He is your refuge. He is the place of your protection. Now, know that we are called to attention, to know God, to know His power, that power which we have seen, which can deliver us from any situation, to know His protection, that it does not matter where you are and what you are doing. If your position is clear in God, God will protect you. And we have said that if God doesn't protect you physically and you die, you are still protected. I like those the younger men in Babylon. They said to Nebuchadnezzar, our God is able to deliver us. But even if He doesn't deliver us from your hand, we will not worship the golden image because we are still safe in Him. And Nebuchadnezzar wanted to see how they can be safe with God in His own hands. And he saw it, that even the fire cannot burn them. Now, to know God, that He is available to us. God is available. God is not far away. And to know His supremacy in all nations throughout the world, throughout the earth. God is supreme. We cannot think about something beyond God. So, but we must know that we cannot think of something beyond God. God is supreme. So therefore, take time in the light of the challenges you are facing, in the light of the needs you are having, in the light of all the problems that you are faced with, take time to know that God is God, is the end. God is in the end. Don't hope for anything beyond God. He is the end. He's everything. So if you want to be delivered, it is God. Take time, be still, and know that God is God. What eludes your mind is that when you are facing with the trouble, you have to worry yourself to death. You have to get answers because you have no solution. No. Please remember that God is God, and He's there, He's available to help you and to take you away from those problems. So our position in Him, we have a position in Him who has power and control over everything that may face us. May God bless you as you reflect, as you take your position, as you stand still, you are still before God, to know that there is no other beyond Him. Our God is the God. May God bless you. Amen.
Wow, thank you very much, Canon Edward Gamuuwa, and may God bless you